Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Chandu Biology Classes. So this is our discussion on paper 1. Okay, so we have started with discussion of modern Indian history. Okay, so although history is the topic that is there in your syllabus, they are majorly focusing on modern Indian history. I told you there is a demarcation between ancient history, medieval history and also modern history, and the advent of Europeans marked the beginning of modern history. Actually you can say the decline of the Mughal Empire, but the decline of the Mughal Empire, those topics are not much focused when it comes to our examination, and also as of now you can see there is lot of debates and all going on regarding that, removing the topics that are there regarding Mughals. Okay, to remove that from the NCERT, all these things, the debate is going on. So we will be focusing on advent of Europeans that mark the beginning of the modern history. So we have already discussed the advent of Europeans. Okay, we discussed that what facilitated the trade between the Europeans and also Asians and also particularly India. There was land route directly, I told you, and also there was sea route, Mediterranean Sea and also Red Sea, it was there. But what happened was there was clash between Christianity and Islam. Okay, because of that, okay, the Roman Catholic, that is, or the Romans empire, that collapsed. Because of what? There was a clash between Roman Empire and also the Ottoman Turks. Ottoman Turks, they represent the Muslim world, okay, or the Islamic world. Okay, it was supported by very renowned countries at that time, that is Islamic countries like Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia and all these places, Turkey, all these places. So when Ottoman Turkey won, okay, that time what happened was this trade route and also the sea route was cut off for the trade between India and also the Europe. Okay, so they had to find an alternative route. Alternative route was to circumnavigate the what? Circumnavigate means surrounding that Africa. Circumnavigate Africa and come back to where? India. So because of this, there was a lot of expedition that took place. Expedition means navigation experiments that took place. Okay, among that the most important two countries in the Europe that we have to focus is Portugal and also Spain. But we will be focusing on Portugal because Spain never invaded India. Okay, and also there was a treaty between Portugal and Spain, okay, about who should go which side for expedition. That is called Treaty of Tordesillas. Treaty of Tordesillas is between whom? Portugal and Spain. According to this, what happened? That is, the Portugal will go towards where? The Portugal will go towards west and Spain will go towards east. That's why Christopher Columbus set towards east to discover India. But in what happened was he discovered some other country, that is nothing but America. He called it as what? East Indies. Okay, that is what he discovered. Okay, that is what he discovered. So next, Bartholomew Dias set out to see the southern tip of Africa. Okay, as he approached the southern tip of Africa, what happened? A severe storm pushed his ship towards that side. Okay, that means he crossed the southern tip. Okay, and later what happened was he came back. While coming back what? That southern tip, he named it as what? Cape of Storm. Cape of Storm he named it. Okay, but the king was not happy with the name. He gave the name as because of that he could go that side. So he gave it as Cape of Good Hope. That means he felt that there are so many other ventures we can take forward. That means there is a lot of hope for development there. So what happened was next Vasco da Gama followed the path of Bartholomew Dias, but he didn't stop at Cape of Good Hope. He went forward and went to Mozambique. In Mozambique, what happened was he saw that there were Indian ships and also Indian seamen. Seamen I am telling. Okay, that is the fishermen or the people who work on the sea, all these things. These people, he hired these people who Vasco da Gama and took their help, and he came to India and he reached Calicut, that is called Kozhikode now, okay, in Kerala, and he discovered India. Like that we saw the advent of, next it was Dutch, then it was the British, English, that is next it was Danes, next it became who? Next it was French. French were the last to come. Okay, so this is the story we learned and also the background we learned, why they had to find the sea route, all these things. And next in the previous class we discussed about Governor Generals and Viceroys, that is how the position of Governor of Bengal was changed to Governor General of Bengal, then later it was changed to Governor General of India and later to Viceroy of India. This story we learnt in the previous class, and also what are the important events that took place under important Governor Generals or Viceroys. Like we started with Robert Clive, he introduced dual government, and later we learnt Warren Hastings, Supreme Court was set up, and also the Governor of Bengal was changed as Governor General of Bengal, all these things. And also there was which war? Second Anglo-Mysore War, first Maratha War, and also Treaty of what it is? Treaty of Salbai. Treaty of Salbai. Treaty we will have separate class only for treaties. Next we had very important person, that is Lord Cornwallis. We learnt about the Cornwallis Code, and also the Cornwallis Code was on judiciary and also introduced permanent land settlements. How the land management should be done? There were three things that we learnt. One is permanent land settlement, it was introduced in Bengal. Next we learnt about Rohitwari settlement by Thomas Munro, Rohitwari settlement, and also about Mahalwari settlement, all these things. Next comes very important person, Wellesley introduced subsidiary alliance system. Subsidiary alliance system, I told you, for that kingdom there will be a standing army of the British. Okay, in return the king has to give what? Revenue. Okay, production will be given by the British, but there will be a British agent in the kingdom. Okay, he should not interfere in the internal affairs of the kingdom, but he used to eventually or often involve in the internal affairs of the kingdom. Okay, so there was dissatisfaction among the Indians, and also if that king or the kingdom had to interact with another kingdom, they had to take the permission of the British. This was the what terms and condition of subsidiary alliance. Okay, and the first prince or the province that came under the subsidiary alliance was the Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam of Hyderabad was the first thing that came under subsidiary alliance. Then we learned about Lord Dalhousie. Okay, he introduced doctrine of lapse. Okay, if the king doesn't have a natural king, the natural son or the adopted son is not considered, only natural heir. If it doesn't have, what happens is that kingdom will go to the British. Okay, like this they acquired Satara, Jhansi, Sambalpur, Udaipur, so many people, so many provinces. Another thing is very important we learned is based on misgovernance, Awadh, that is present day Uttar Pradesh, was annexed by the British. The reason that they gave was misgovernance. Okay, the reason that they gave was misgovernance. Okay, so next thing, later we come to 1950s and all, there was freedom struggle, all these things we know. But when it comes to this, what I told, well, subsidiary system and also subsidiary alliance and also permanent land settlement system and also doctrine of lapse, all this system was oppressive to the Indians. Oppressive means it was against the Indians. Okay, so this all created anger among the Indians. Okay, so all this anger along with some other immediate factors, immediate factors that culminated in the revolt of 1857. Okay, all those things and also some immediate factors led to the revolt of 1857. So today in this class we will be discussing about 1857 revolt, but before that let us look at our courses, that is TGPSC PGT General Studies. As you know, the same class will be providing for General Studies also, General Studies JL DL also and also PGT also, because syllabus is 100% the same, but PGT difficulty level will be less, but JL DL difficulty level when it comes to General Studies it will be little higher, but we will cover with depth itself. So this will be more than enough for TGPSC PGT, the General Studies that we are doing, and also Biocensus paper 3 and also paper 2 will also be provided. Okay, next when it comes to more details you can contact on this number or visit our branch, that is in Narayanguda, Hyderabad. Next thing you have to understand is TGPSC JL DL General Studies we are providing, till now we are providing core paper, General Studies also we are providing. Next, for the same thing you can contact on this number. For both of this the batch is starting from 1st August. Here also the new batch is starting from 1st August and every 15 days a new batch will start, that you know. Okay, this about our course. Now let us get started with what? 1857 revolt. 1857 revolt. Okay, so one thing you must understand, this 1857 revolt is also called by various names. Okay, this 1857 revolt is also called by various names. So let us have a look at this. So what were the names that we used? Okay, first thing is it was called as Sepoy Mutiny. Okay, Sepoy Mutiny. Okay, Sepoy Mutiny means it was a revolt of the soldiers they are telling. Okay, so 1857 revolt, actually most of the Indians were involved, we can say, but the British told that it is not the Indians who were revolting, only the soldiers. They wanted to show that this is just a small revolt. So they said that not all sections of the society are revolting, only some sections of the society, that is only the sepoys are revolting. That's why they called it as Sepoy Mutiny. Who called this? British historians. But Indians called this as what? Indian Mutiny. Entire all Indians, that is all the sections of Indians are revolting against the British. That is why it was called as what? Indian Mutiny. Indian Mutiny by Indian historians. It was called as Indian Mutiny by Indian historians. And most important, it was also called as first war of Indian independence. Okay, first war of Indian independence. So first thing is what? It was called as Sepoy Mutiny. That the British named it as, British historians called this revolt as Sepoy Mutiny. They said that it was not the revolt of the entire Indians, only some section of the Indians revolted, that is only the sepoys or the soldiers. They told that it is just a small mutiny and they named it as Sepoy Mutiny. But Indians said that it is not just the sepoys, it is not just the soldiers. A lot of Indians are revolting against the British, and that's why they called it as what? Indian Mutiny. That was named by Indian historians. And most important thing that you have to remember here is the first war of Indian independence. This was given by Vijay Damodar Savarkar or V.D. Savarkar. Just remember V.D. Savarkar. First war of Indian independence, it was given by V.D. Savarkar. Okay, very important personality. Unfortunately, we don't have much about him in our textbooks. Okay, so this is about V.D. Savarkar. Got it? First war of Indian independence. Now let us proceed, because they have asked questions how it is called by different names and who called it also they have asked. Okay, all right, let us move to this thing. Revolt of 1857. Okay, it is not for UPSC, anyways leave it. This is introduction, causes of revolt, beginning of the revolt, centers of revolt, causes of failure, importance of the revolt. We will study under various dimensions: introduction, causes of revolt, beginning, okay, centers of revolt, causes of failure, and also importance of revolt. So first let us see the introduction. Okay, so introduction means what is it talking about? The revolt of 1857 is one of the most significant rebellions in pre-independent India. That is, before we got the independence, okay, there are so many movements that took place: non-cooperation movement, Swadeshi movement, civil disobedience movement, and also Quit India movement, or all these movements that took place. And there we also tend to forget the movements that was taken by the peasants. Lot of peasant movements are also there, tribal movements are also there, that we should not forget. Okay, but there is something called mainstream history. Mainstream history means people who write for the upper class. That is, you can say people who write it for the looking at the upper class section of the people. That is, looking at the only the people who are dominant sections. The history that is written, that is 99% of the history that we read is mainstream history. But there is something called subaltern history. Subaltern history means looking history from another angle. That is, you have to look at those other people who are not so famous people, that them also you have to bring them into light. They focus on peasant revolt, they focus on farmer revolt, they focus on tribal revolt, okay, they focus on women, all these things. Okay, if you talk about this thing, what? Mainstream history, what happens is, just one chapter may be dedicated for women, but in subaltern history, in every chapter they will show the significance of women that took place there. Okay, significance of women that took place, or significance of the tribals or the peasants that took place. Okay, as of now the recent, you can see there is a lot of importance given for the tribal revolts, okay, and also the peasant movements, and the government is also making so many announcements in name of them. You can see Birsa Munda is made famous, okay, Munda rebellion, all these things. So many Santal rebellions, Santals, they are also made famous because the government is giving importance. So when they are giving importance, definitely it will be in current affairs, definitely it will come in the exam. Okay, so the revolt of 1857, one of the most significant rebellions. Now it is also known as first war of independence, I told you, but they will ask who told it? It is V.D. Savarkar. Next thing is, the revolt began on May 10, 1857 at Meerut. Okay, please remember, it did not start at Delhi. Many people will think it is Delhi. It is not Delhi, it started in Meerut. When? May 10, 1857. It started at Meerut in 1857, May 10th. Okay, May 10th, 1857, it started in Delhi. Got it? Now, next thing is, and gradually spread to various places. And gradually spread to various places. So it started at some place. Why did it start? We have to learn. Okay, it started at Meerut on May 10, 1857. And gradually, like a virus, it spread to various places. What are those places? In those places, who are the important leaders that we have to learn? Okay, because those places they will give, who was the important leader of that place, they will ask. They can ask directly, okay, in Bihar, who was the important leader of 1857, they can ask. Or they can give so many places and so many leaders, they can ask in the form of match the following also. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, so that is why it is important. Next thing is causes of the revolt. Next thing is causes of the revolt. The causes can be categorized into 5 broad categories. Okay, the causes can be, that is, what was the reason that the revolt that is taking place. Okay, so for that there are 5 broad categories or 5 broad causes. But instead of going to the political cause, first let us learn something that is immediate cause. Something that is immediate cause. So if you look at the immediate cause, what happened was there was introduction of Enfield rifle, not your Royal Enfield, Enfield rifle I am telling. There was rifle, okay, at that time it was not directly guns, okay, Enfield rifle was there. That time what you had to do was, you had to cartridges greased with beef and pig fat was deeply offensive, okay. So this introduction of Enfield rifle was there. Before shooting or using that, what they had to do was, they had to bite the cartridges, okay, they had to bite the cartridges. You can see in the old movies, black and white movies or old movies, you can see the guns being used. They will bite it first, they will remove the cartridge and then they will shoot it. Okay, this cartridges was greased with pig fat and also cow fat. So this was hurting the sentiments of Hindus also and also the Muslims. Okay, so they were hurting the sentiments of religious sentiments of Indians. Okay, so was deeply offensive. That means this was directly offensive. This was the immediate cause. Okay, this was the immediate cause. That's why what happened was, the soldiers refused to provide service, and each barrack, each unit of army, you can say that is called barrack, okay, or regiment. Okay, in each regiment the news spread that this is being done and they started revolting. Okay, in one of the regiment, okay, the Indian soldier shot at the British officer also. That famous person is Mangal Pandey. Okay, you must have heard about the movie Mangal Pandey by Amir Khan, correct? No, you must have heard about it. Okay, such movies you won't watch. Anyways, it was seen as an attempt to destroy religion. Okay, which one? Introduction of Enfield rifle. Okay, it was seen as an attempt to destroy religion. So this was the immediate cause. If there was immediate cause, the introduction of the Enfield rifle. This rifle, it had cartridges. This cartridges was greased with beef and pig fat. Beef meat, it is cow fat, cow meat. Okay, that is the meaning of beef and pig fat was deeply offensive. It was directly hurting the religious sentiments. Okay, so this was the immediate reason. So the soldiers gathered at each place, Meerut, on May 10, 1857, and they started marching towards Delhi. Okay, in the name of revolt, they started marching towards Delhi, because this revolt they wanted an important leader to lead them. Okay, as of now the soldiers didn't have a leader. What they did was, they went to Delhi. They went to Delhi. At Delhi Red Fort, there was one leader. His name was Bahadur Shah. Okay, his name was Bahadur Shah. Okay, he was already an old man. He cannot do anything when it comes to protest and all. But they made him the leader as a symbolic aid. Okay, he was a king. They made him the leader so that there is a symbolic aid. This king is supporting us. Okay, he was made for namesake, but revolt was done by the soldiers. The revolt was done by the soldiers. For namesake, he was made the leader of the revolt, and revolt was done by the soldiers. In place of him, there was another person who took place in the revolt. Okay, he sent one person. This name was Bakat Khan. Okay, we will see that when we go to various places. That is, when we talk about Delhi, how it spread, all these things we will understand. Now, next thing is, another reason is political cause. Political cause, like I told you, okay, there was doctrine of lapse. By whom? Lord Dalhousie. Doctrine of lapse, okay, denied the adopted heir the right to succession. That is, if there is, I am talking about adopted heir, natural heir. That is, if I am having my son can inherit the throne. Okay, if I don't have a son, adopted son cannot inherit the throne. That is, adopted son cannot, succession means he cannot inherit the throne, means he cannot take up that throne. So that time, which antagonized the ruling class. That means this was against the ruling class, doctrine of lapse. That means the ruling class, if they don't have son, okay, that what will happen? That kingdom, entire kingdom will go to the British. So this was furiated the whom? Ruling class. Next thing is subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance created discontent by establishing British control over kingdoms, deepening resentment. That is, I told you, as per subsidiary alliance, a British agent will stay in the kingdom. His duty was, he just stay there and collect the revenue, but he started involving in the internal administration, so that to weaken the kingdom from inside. To weaken the kingdom from inside, he started involving. And another most important thing is, this king or the kingdom cannot interact with another kingdom without the permission of the British. So it was nothing but they were staying in a jail. Okay, they were staying in a jail. They are nothing but they are jailed. Okay, that entire kingdom. So this created discontent. Discontent means there is no satisfaction. This hurt the sentiment of the ruling class and also the people of that kingdom. So this was the political cause. This is what political cause. But when it comes to most important cause is immediate cause. This is also important, like I told you, Governor Generals what they did, okay, and all these causes culminated and it resulted in what? 1857 revolt. But most important thing is immediate cause, that is introduction of Enfield rifle. Introduction of Enfield rifle. Got it? Next thing is we have economic cause. Economic cause means I told you there is something called permanent settlement and also Rohit settlement push the population into extreme poverty. That is, there are settlements like permanent land settlement. Okay. Another thing is Rohit settlement. Next we have Mahalwari settlement. Now when I talk about this permanent land settlements, okay, the British will be there. See, the British, their main aim is to collect the revenue from the peasants, the farmers, all these things. For that they needed a system. That system is, we have three systems. There was permanent settlement, later Rohit settlement, there was Mahalwari settlement. Okay, in permanent settlement, how they collect the revenue? In permanent settlement, below the British, there is something called Zamindar. This is also called Zamindari system or whatever. Okay, this Zamindar will collect the revenue. Okay, he will collect the revenue. Out of this revenue, some part he will keep with him, remaining he will give there. Okay, remaining he will give there. Next thing is Rohit settlement. Before that I will talk about Mahalwari settlement. Here farmers are there. Okay, each farmer will give the revenue to the village headman. Okay, here Mahal means village. Okay, each village will collect them among themselves and give to the village headman. This village headman will give the revenue to the British. Okay, suppose you are all peasants, I am the village headman, this classroom is on village, you will collect among yourselves and you will give to me. I am the village headman, I will give to the British. That is the meaning of what? That is the meaning of Mahalwari system. Okay, otherwise I am the Zamindar, I collect from you, I keep something for me. Okay, like that I do collect from so many other peasants. That is Zamindari settlement, or I can say it as permanent land settlement. But instead of that, this is by Lord Cornwallis. Okay, Cornwallis. This was Rohit settlement by Thomas Munro, Rohit settlement. Here what you will say is, you need not collect from us, we know how to give. You will say, you will only go and give the revenue. In this Rohit settlements, Rohit means what? See the word Rohit, it is called Rayat, correct? No? Rohit settlement means here that directly the farmers will go and give the revenue to the British. Okay, no middleman, there is no middle person that is involved. You people, farmers, directly will go and give to the British. What? The revenue. So this is Rohit settlement. So all these things, okay, in any settlement definitely you have to give the revenue itself. Okay, no system allowed them to give a revenue in a less amount. Okay, it all increased only. So because of this, what happened was that led to extreme poverty, because at that time there was famine also, there was drought also. The climatic factors are also there. When there is no growth, how can you give the revenue to the British? First of all, they should also have some produce for them to eat, correct? No. So because of this, that led to extreme poverty. Extreme poverty because of what? They had to give the revenue. So this resulted in what? Anger amongst the peasants against the British. Okay. Next thing is, British policy emphasizes importing cotton from England, destroying Indian cotton industries. We already had, like I told you in the beginning, okay, well I told you advent of Europeans, I told you there was lot of demand in the European market for the cotton that we produced. But later what happened was, they destroyed the Indian cotton industries. Who? The British. They started importing cotton from Britain. Okay, even if Indians had to produce the cotton by themselves, cotton fabric or cotton cloths if they had to produce, okay, what they had to do was, they had to import cotton from Britain and then only they can do. That means what? The Indian made goods will become costly. The goods made by the imported cotton by the British, that will become what? Cheap. Okay, it will become cheap because the British are importing from England. That means it will be, import will be cheap for them, and whatever they produce, that will become cheaper compared to the Indian goods. What the general public, what they will do? They buy something which is cheap, correct? No, they will not say, even if it is costly, I will go and buy only from Indians. They won't say at that time. They will buy which is cheap. So because of this, this Indian cotton industry was destroyed, okay, and British industry started developing. Next thing was, led to destruction of local artisans and craftsmen due to loss of royal patronage. So the kings, they are only already in problem because of doctrine of lapse, subsidiary alliance, this permanent settlement, all these things. Okay, they used to give some money for whom? Natural craftsmen like artisans, okay, and some people who make with their hand, so many things. For them, they used to give some funds. Who? The kingdom. Now, the kingdom itself is empty. How can they give to those people? So, that led to the destruction of these local artisans and also craftsmen. Okay. All these things are economic impact. Okay. So, here you are taking money from also from us, and also you are taking goods also from us. Who? The British. So, this is also called as drain of wealth. Drain of wealth. Okay. Drain of wealth. This is a concept given by Dadabhai Naoroji. This is a concept given by Dadabhai Naoroji, very important person. This is nothing but what? Our wealth is getting drained to Britain. Drain of wealth, it was given by Dadabhai Naoroji. He wrote a very important book. They can ask you a question. That is, his book name was, I'll write it here, his book name was Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Poverty and Un-British India. Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. So, this all led to what? This all led to drain of wealth. This drain of wealth concept, okay, this drain of wealth concept is given by Dadabhai Naoroji. In which did he talk about drain of wealth concept? He spoke in a book. That book is called Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Got it? Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Okay, this is the thing that was told by Dadabhai Naoroji, very important person. Okay, he was also, I will tell you when I talk about Congress, first president is, who it is? I told you in the previous class. Who is the first president? I told you Avo Yum was the founder of Congress. Who is the first president? First it was held in 28 December, okay, Bombay, first session. Who is the president? Who is the president of the Congress, first president of the Congress? This was discussed in the previous class. Why I am telling is, he is the second president, and the second session was held in Calcutta, and third session was held in, and third session was held in Madras. Okay, and the president was Badruddin Tyabji. But the first president is who? Okay, think about it and put it in the comment section. You people are not even commenting the answers. That shows your interest. Anyways, fine. Okay, fine. Next thing. These about the economic causes. So, we started with the introduction. We learned the immediate cause, that is Enfield rifle. Next is political causes, doctrine of lapse on these things, subsidiary alliance. Then we learned economic causes like permanent settlement, Rohitwari settlement, Mahalwari settlement, and also import of cotton, destroying Indian industries, and also loss of royal patronage meant that led to the destruction of local artisans and also craftsmen. Okay, and also craftsmen. Next, socio-religious causes. Socio-religious causes means, when I discuss about socio-religious reforms, you understand that there was British also, they were involved in reforming the Indian system. Okay, now we can say that sati is bad, all these things, but at that time the society was very orthodox. They felt that, they did not feel that that is they are interfering to reform the system. They did not feel like that, Indians. At that time what they felt was, they are interfering in our internal affairs, they are interfering in our family affairs, they are interfering in our religious affairs. All these things they felt, because we were superstitious. The British wanted to destroy that. Okay, so the reform distributed the traditional fabric of India and created suspicion among Indians. Why these people are interfering in doing all this? There was suspicion, means there was doubt. Okay, this doubt, this when it comes to, when you go to religious sentiments, you are hurting religious sentiment. That is one of the immediate cause, that is Enfield rifle. Same thing happened here. Okay, social religious cause means they are introducing widow remarriage, they are introducing child marriage, all these things. That was very high tech concept at that time. Even now child marriage is what? We don't accept child marriage. Okay, even though widow remarriage is seen as something, correct? No, but at that time British introducing all these things meant that they are interfering in internal affairs of our country. So, this disturbed the Indian system. And also Christian missionary activities. I told you, okay, this Dutch, Danes, all these things, all these people came to promote their religion. British came only for economic gains. But later this British also, after establishing their province or the kingdom, or not the kingdom, their empire, British empire in India, what they felt was, they wanted to spread Christianity also here. So, in the name of education, this Christian missionary activities, that is like trying to forcefully convert people, all these activities was taking place. Okay, promoting conversion led to resentment, that is this conversion and all hurt the religious fabric of India. Next thing is abolition of sati, support for widow remarriage, and also women's education were viewed as interference by orthodox sections. That is what I explained: sati, widow remarriage, and abolition of child marriage. Okay, and also women's education. Okay, women's education at that time was seen as a taboo. Taboo means it is not something that women should be educated. Going out itself is seen as a crime. Okay, at that time. Okay, so these are all the social religious causes. These are all the social religious causes. Okay, this hurt the Indians. Okay, these are all the social religious causes. Next thing we will study is military cause. Military cause. Okay, in DPSP also we will discuss equal pay for equal work, be it for women or men. But here in the military, what happened was, for the same service that is being provided, the British officers were provided more salary compared to the Indian military officers, and also promotions were given for the British but not for the Indian officers. So this created what? Discrimination. So this discrimination hurt the Indian soldiers. So see here, Indian soldiers faced discrimination and were underpaid compared to the British soldiers. That is what I told you. Next thing is, they were denied foreign service alliance like Batta and Sindhi. Okay, Batta and Sindhi. Foreign service alliance was called Batta. Okay, foreign service alliance was called Batta. Okay, they were not allowed. Okay, even if they go to foreign, okay, they go to serve for the British army in the foreign, they were not given foreign service alliance. And most of the time, okay, they were prohibited from various caste and sectarian symbols. Caste and sectarian symbols. That is, caste and sectarian symbol means, suppose Indian soldiers, suppose he is a Hindu, suppose he wants to wear sindoor, something like that, or he is a Sikh, he wants to wear turban, or he is a Muslim, he wants to leave his beard. All these things were not allowed by the British. Okay, this hurt the sentiment. Again coming back to religion itself. Okay, next important thing is General Service Enlistment Act. General Service Enlistment Act, no need to remember the act, just remember this. Okay, made overseas deployment compulsory, which threatened the caste customs. That is, General Service Enlistment Act, what did it say? It was, any soldier, if you are in the army, definitely you have to go and serve in the foreign country. Okay, what this meant was, foreign country means it is not, everything is not connected by land. Some countries you have to go through the sea also. At that time it was felt that if you cross the sea and go, it is like you are giving up your caste. If you cross the sea and go, it is like giving up your caste or religion. And once you come back to India, you will not be accepted in your village or your place. So this was the sentiment that was there among the Indian soldiers. This was hurt by this act. This act made compulsory to go for the foreign country, okay, for service. So all these things were military causes. So we learned immediate cause, then political cause, economic cause, social religious cause, and also military cause. So these were all the causes that led to what? 1857 revolt. That led to 1857 revolt. So they can ask question from causes also. And introduction I told you, you should remember what are the different names that they are using. Different names, that is First War of Independence, Sepoy Mutiny, and also Indian Mutiny. Okay, these are the things which you have to remember. Now let us see the centers of revolt. We understood the cause. First of all, let us understand the beginning. It began at Meerut, like I told you, Meerut on May 10, 1857. Okay, where sepoys killed British officers and marched towards Delhi. Okay, in Meerut also there was Meerut regiment, that is army regiment. What happened was, Enfield rifle was given for them. What they did was, in Meerut on May 10, 1857, the sepoys, our Indian soldiers here, they killed the British officers and they marched towards Delhi. Okay, then at Delhi, Bahadur Shah Zafar, okay, Bahadur Shah or Bahadur Shah Zafar, okay, was declared the Emperor of India, and the revolt spread under his leadership. Okay, he is an old man, he cannot do anything. Okay, so they made him the Emperor of India. Under him, the revolt was started. Okay, they went to Delhi. Delhi means it was center India, correct? No, they wanted to go to Delhi, and what they did was, they went to Bahadur Shah Zafar, made him the what? Declared him he is the Emperor of India. Under him we are fighting against the whom? Against British. Okay, like this the revolt started. On when? May 10, 1857. Group of soldiers went to Delhi. They made Bahadur Shah Zafar as what? Emperor of India, and the revolts were to under his leadership to various other parts of the country. So in Delhi, centers of revolt. Okay, centers of revolt, you have to understand, upon starting, the revolt spread to various places. Okay, is predominantly affected the northern parts of the country. Okay, the revolt spread to various places, but mainly in the northern part of the country. This is one of the drawback. One of the drawback is also this only, because it was restricted to northern part of the country. In 1857 revolt, when I talk about the centers, you will nowhere see Hyderabad, Bangalore or Madras. At that time there is no Bangalore also, whatever. So you will never see South Indian places. Okay, it was only North India. So let us see the first place. It is Delhi. When I talk about Delhi, obviously the person that was Emperor of India, that is Bahadur Shah Zafar, was the leader. Okay, here you have to remember whom, the place and also the leader. Delhi, when it comes, it is Bahadur Shah Zafar. He was made the Emperor of India. Eventually the command shifted to his commander Bakat Khan. I told you, he is an old man, he cannot do anything. So but under him there is a commander, his military commander Bakat Khan took up the role of Bahadur Shah Zafar. That is, Bahadur Shah Zafar is still there, but instead of him, Bakat Khan will do the activities. Okay, that is the meaning of this commander Bakat Khan taking charge. So Delhi, who are the people you have to remember? Bahadur Shah Zafar and his commander Bakat Khan. Bahadur Shah Zafar and also his commander Bakat Khan. Got it? Next thing is, you have to understand what is the next place that it goes to. It is Lucknow. Okay, in Lucknow it began on 4 June 1857. No need to worry about the dates. No need to worry about the dates. What I said, that you remember. Begum Hazrat Mahal took over the reign. That is, in Lucknow, who was the leader? It is Begum Hazrat Mahal. Okay, it is not Taj Mahal, it is not Mumtaz Mahal, it is Begum Hazrat Mahal. Okay, it is Begum Hazrat Mahal who took over the control in Lucknow. What they did is, they killed a British officer. There was a British resident. British resident means there was subsidiary alliance. I told you, there will be a British resident staying in the kingdom. Like that, there was a British resident. His name was Henry Lawrence. His name was what? Henry Lawrence. I told you, while I told about subsidiary alliance, apart from the protection from the British, there will be a British resident that will be staying in the kingdom. Like that, there was British resident staying in Lucknow. That British resident is Henry Lawrence. He was killed by these people, the protesters at Lucknow. Okay, under whom? Begum Hazrat Mahal. Okay, Begum Hazrat Mahal, under her, a British resident Henry Lawrence was killed, and several Europeans were also killed. Okay, Lucknow was recovered by the British in March 1858. Ultimately, there was an end to the revolt. Okay, there was an end to the revolt, but you have to remember very important person. When it comes to Lucknow, it is Begum Hazrat Mahal. Okay, whom did they kill? A British resident. His name was Henry Lawrence. Henry Lawrence. That's all you remember. Next thing is, okay, next thing, it is Kanpur. So you can see Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, they are all Uttar Pradesh, almost Uttar Pradesh and Delhi region, central and northern India, mostly in northern India. See here, Kanpur. Revolt began on 5th June 1857. Okay, 4 June, this is next day itself, Kanpur, because they are very close by. Next thing is, it was led by Nana Sahib, headed by Tantia Tope. Tantia Tope is a very important personality. We will come back again and again in history. Okay, so in Kanpur it was Nana Sahib. Okay, Nana Sahib. Okay, in Kanpur it is Nana Sahib. He was helped by whom? Tantia Tope. Okay, where when it comes to Delhi it is Bahadur Shah Zafar. He was helped by whom? He was helped by Bakat Khan, General Bakat Khan. But when it comes to here, it is Kanpur, it is Nana Sahib, helped by Tantia Tope. Okay, Sir Hugh Wheeler. Sir Hugh Wheeler was killed in the revolt. There it was Henry Lawrence. Here it is starting again from H itself, Hugh Wheeler. Henry Lawrence in Lucknow, Hugh Wheeler in Kanpur was killed. Okay, Colin Campbell, he was a military commander of the British. He was very dominant person. He took the help of many British army people. He came to Kanpur, he captured Kanpur also, Lucknow also he captured. Who was that? Colin Campbell took over Kanpur in 1857. Colin Campbell, just remember, but most importantly you have to remember whom? It is Nana Sahib. Nana Sahib is important, and also Tantia Tope. Okay, in 1857 revolt, Tantia Tope is related to which of the following regions they can ask? It is Lucknow, Kanpur, Delhi, something like that. The answer is what? Kanpur. Okay, so Kanpur it is Nana Sahib and also Tantia Tope. Whom did they kill? Hugh Wheeler. Okay, Hugh Wheeler. Okay. Next thing is Jhansi. The word itself says famous personality. Command was taken by Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai. Okay, Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai. Rani Lakshmi Bai. Okay, this was the person who took over in Jhansi. Okay, she was enslaved with the British over her adopted son's legal heir status. Here it is what? Doctrine of lapse. Okay, Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai, she didn't have her natural child. That is, she didn't have her own son. She had an adopted son. What happened? Because of this, Under doctrine of lapse, she cannot hold her kingdom with her. She has to give back her kingdom. Not give back, give her kingdom to the British. Under what? Doctrine of lapse. This was not okay for Rani Jhansi. So she started revolting against the British, and also it became a part of 1857 revolt. She waited for a perfect time. This 1857 revolt provided a fertile ground for her revolt. Okay. So joined the revolt on 5th June 1857, died fighting on 17th June 1858. Okay, that is almost 1 year she fought. Okay, Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai fought for almost 1 year. Why? Because doctrine of lapse was applied on Jhansi, but she didn't have her own son, she had an adopted son. Okay, so she started fighting because the British wanted to capture Jhansi under doctrine of lapse. She fought against the British and heroically she fought, and she died after 1 year, that is 1858. Jhansi, it is Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai. Kanpur, it is Nana Sahib along with Tantia Top. Lucknow, it is Begum Hazrat Mahal. There they killed Henry Lawrence. In Kanpur, they killed Hugh Wheeler. Okay, you should remember like this. Next thing is Bareilly. Okay, Bareilly. Okay, Rai Bareilly or Bareilly. Now they call it as Rai Bareilly. That is Bareilly only. Okay, Bareilly. It is Khan Bahadur Khan. Don't get confused. That is Bahadur Shah Zafur. It is KBK. Khan Bahadur Khan. Okay. Khan Bahadur Khan, not KFC, it is Khan Bahadur Khan, okay, who proclaimed himself Nawab. Nawab means having some names, like I told you, Article 18 abolishes title, Nawab, okay, that is also title that should not be allowed, okay, Article 18. But it came later in the constitution, that time they used to have their own thing, okay. So, Khan Bahadur Khan named himself the Nawab, okay, proclaimed himself, I am the Nawab of Rai Bareilly, like that. Okay, main grievance was low pensions offered by the British. Low pensions offered by the British. Okay, there was one more thing. Under subsidiary alliance or doctrine of lapse, if you give back the kingdom to the British, the kings will receive pension. The kings will receive pension from whom? British. Okay, but this pension was very less for in Bareilly, that was given to Khan Bahadur Khan. So anyways, they are giving less pension. Other people around the country are fighting against the British. Let me also use this opportunity to fight against the British. That is what he thought. That is what he taught. Who? Khan Bahadur Khan. Okay, so he fought against the British in Rai Bareilly, and he defeated by Campbell and sentenced to death. Colin Campbell took charge in Kanpur also, Lucknow also, even in Bareilly also. Okay, this Khan Bahadur Khan was captured by Campbell, okay, Colin Campbell, and he was sentenced to death. That punishment was given, that he was sentenced to death. Okay, understood? Sentenced to death means he was given a punishment of death. Okay, got it? So Bareilly, you have to remember whom? Khan Bahadur Khan. Okay, Bareilly, Khan Bahadur Khan. Next, Bihar is very important. It was led by an old man conversing. He fought heroically against the British. Okay, old man conversing. Okay, not Kanwarlal, it is conversing. Okay, so represented British for depriving him of his estate. Okay, he had an estate that was taken over by the British. Okay, his estate was taken over by the British. Okay, maybe sometime it was taken over. Others are fighting against the British. Anyways, they have taken my estate, I will also fight. Okay, anyways, other parts of the country they are fighting against the British. These idiots have taken my estate also, so I will also fight. So he also started. Okay, where in Bihar, that is, his name was Kanwar Singh. Fought it really died on 26th April 1858. Okay, so you can see it is had a limited time period, this 1857 revolt. Okay, Kanwar Singh from Bihar. Okay, you have to remember, Delhi it is Bahadur Shah Zafar helped by Bakat Khan. Next it is what? Lucknow, Begum Hazrat Mahal, there they killed Henry Lawrence. Next it is Kanpur, it is Nana Sahib along with Tantia Top, there they killed Hugh Wheeler. Next thing it is Jhansi Lakshmi Bai. Next thing it is what? Bareilly. Bareilly is Khan Bahadur Khan, he proclaimed himself Nawab, he was captured by Colin Campbell and defeated and killed in, sentenced to death. Okay, next is Bihar, Kanwar Singh. Okay, his estate was taken over. Okay, these are the places that you have to remember. So we have learned the introduction to revolt, and also we learned the causes, and we also learned centers of the revolt. Now let us see the reasons of failure. Okay, although there was success, there was some success that was achieved, but majorly it was a failure, we can say. Okay, what was the reason for failure? It was restricted participation. Like I said, this was majorly restricted to northern India. The eastern, southern, western regions did not participate and were unaffected. Forget about participating, they were not even affected by this revolt. Okay, there was Indian people also in other parts of the country, and there were British also. They were not even affected by this revolt in those places of the country. Okay, this is the reasons for one of the failure, that is It was not united, or it did not spread to other parts of the country in a major way. Northern India started, it spread to other parts of northern India. It did not spread to other parts of India, that is, it did not spread to southern India, it did not spread to eastern or western India. Okay. Next thing is lack of support from several sections. Okay. Upper middle classes and also intelligentsia did not participate. Intelligentsia means the people who are educated, scholars, lawyers, doctors, however it is, they did not participate, and also upper class and also middle class, they didn't participate. Okay. And also educated Indians feared feudal character and stayed neutral. Okay. Feared feudal character means, that is, what happened is this feudal system, because of that they felt that their jobs will be taken away. They felt that if they revolt against the British, their jobs will be taken away. And anyways, after the fight, the kings and the British will come to a compromise. But what will happen to their jobs for the common people? So that's why upper and middle class, intelligentsia and educated people did not participate in the revolt. Next thing is inferior military technology. At that time, our military was very inferior. Okay, you can think even still with that time we were using guns, bows, arrows or whatever. But they were using, British had advanced arms and artillery. Okay, Indian rebels used traditional weapons, swords, spears, axes. This can be used for cutting trees, but not to fight. They were using this for fighting at that time. Next thing is, Indian soldiers found it difficult to match the British forces. They found it difficult to match the British forces at that time because they are advanced technology. But now what we can see, as of now we are advanced compared to British. Now as of now, if you compare the military of UK and also India, we are much more advanced. Okay, if you talk about the military power, we are fourth or third. Okay, I think fourth or third. Okay, it will be oscillating between third and fourth positions. Okay, and we are ahead of UK also. Okay, understood. That is our development that we have transformed now. Okay, next thing is no united ideology. That is, different people fought for different reasons. Conver Singh, he wanted a state. Okay, Jhansi, he wanted her son to be the king. Okay, Khan Bahadur Khan, he was already an old man, he didn't have any motive. Okay, any motive, people are supporting me anyways, I will also be the king like this. Okay, I will also be the king, he is telling, that's all. That is the ideology of Bahadur Shah Zafar. Okay, all these things. So they did not have any general ideology or united ideology, common ideology they didn't have. They fought for their own different reasons. So, fought for different grievances, no common long-term vision, lack of unity led to ultimate failure. Suppose the revolt is happening, what should be the next stage? How we can unite it? Okay, how we can spread to other parts of the country? How we can gather other Indians? That is, other Indians means other parts of the country. Okay, how we can counter the British? All these things, strategy was not there. Each region they fought, that's it. Next thing is importance of revolt of 1857. Although it was a failure, okay, there are some positives that you can see. Okay, first thing is, all the revolt of failed, it had a few positive impacts. It helped developing feeling of nationalism and also national unity. For the first time, we Indians as a single unit fought against the British. Before that, there were various other wars like Anglo-Maratha War, Anglo-Mysore Wars, okay, Carnatic Wars, so many other things were there. Sikh War, Punjab Wars, all these things were there. Okay, so but as an Indians as a unit, there was no war. So this was the beginning of nationalism, I can say, and national unity, developing a feeling of nationalism and national unity, and it also led to Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay, 1857 revolt. Okay, there was Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay, the British grew sensitive in introducing policies. Some measures were taken by them to improve the condition of under their rule. Because of 1857 revolt, what happened was the East India Company rule was ended. Okay, the British Crown came, that is the British Parliament and the British Crown, they started directly ruling the India. Before this, they were ruling India through East India Company. Now, they put an end to East India Company, they started ruling India directly. And they felt that we should not hurt the sentiments of Indians, we should make policy that are little bit sensitive to Indians also. Such kind of policies were made which were little welfare and forward looking. Okay, that was the impact of the 1857 revolt. So there was a lot of positives. Okay, we cannot say it is complete failure. Okay, definitely there were a lot of positives, and you can say more positives than failure. There are more positives than failure. That's why we still even now we celebrate the 1857 revolt. Okay, got it. So this is about the 1857 revolt. Now let us see some questions. Have a look at this. Okay, multiple choice questions. The educated middle class in India, what they did? Opposed the revolt, supported the revolt, remained neutral, fought against the native rulers. The educated middle class, what they did? Remain neutral. Good. The answer is remain neutral to the revolt of 1857. Okay, they remained what? Neutral. They did not participate or they did not support. They just remain neutral and sat and ate chips. That's all they did. Okay, remain neutral. Next thing is, what was the major positive impacts of 1857 revolt? It is growth of nationalism and national unity. Correct. This is the major positive impact. Next thing, which of the following improved as a result of revolt of 1857? Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay, fine. How did the British react after the revolt of 1857? They left India immediately. They reduced military presence. They became sensitive in policy making. They stopped all administrative reforms. Just now I told you they became sensitive in policy making. They made policies which were sensitive, okay, or sensible. So this is option C. Why did the okay, that is they remain neutral. Same question is repeated. Next thing is, which of the following was not a result of revolt of 1857? There was rise of Indian nationalism. Yes, they are telling not. Okay, please read correctly. Decline in Hindu-Muslim relations. Sensitive in British policies. Yes. Unity among different sections of Indian society. Yes. Decline in Hindu-Muslim unity. No, there was no decline. There was improvement. So this is the right answer, which is not there. Okay, which of the following is not a result? So there was improvement, not decline. Next we have, who was declared the symbolic revolt leader of the revolt of 1857? Who? Gachibowli Diwakar. Who was it? Bahadur Shah Zafar. Okay, Bahadur Shah Zafar. Next thing is, revolt of 1857 began at which place? Meerut on 10th May 1857. Who led the revolt in Lucknow? Begum Hazrat Mahal. Begum Hazrat Mahal. It is Lucknow. Okay. Next thing is Nana Sahib in Kanpur with the help of Tantia Top. Okay. What was the immediate cause of the revolt of 1857? Use of grease cartridges in Enfield rifles. Enfield rifles. Please remember. Next thing is, who led the revolt in Kanpur? Who led the revolt? Who led the revolt? In Kanpur, who led the revolt? It was Nana Sahib. It was helped by Tantia Top. It was not Tantia Top. It was Nana Sahib. Okay. Who was the British resident killed in the revolt at Lucknow? At Lucknow, it is Henry Lawrence. Henry Lawrence in Lucknow, Hugh Wheeler in Kanpur. Lucknow, it is Henry Lawrence. Lucknow Lawrence. Remember like this. Lucknow Lawrence. Okay. Hugh Wheeler in Kanpur. Who assisted Nana Sahib during the revolt in Kanpur? It is Tantia Top. Okay, Tantia Top. He assisted him during the revolt in Kanpur. Okay, next thing is, who led the revolt in Bareilly? Khan Bahadur Khan, who proclaimed himself as Nawab. Okay, who led the revolt in Bihar? It is Kanwar Singh. Okay, Kanwar Singh. Rani Lakshmibai died fighting the British at which place? Jhansi Rani Lakshmibai. Okay, she died at Jhansi itself. Next thing is, revolt of 1857 is also known as Sepoy Mutiny, Great Rebellion, First War of Independence, all of the above. So the answer is all of the above. Clear? Next thing is, the revolt of 1857 was finally suppressed by the British in which year? 1858. 1858. Clear? 1852. Okay. What was the role of educated middle class? They remained neutral. Fine. Okay. One of the causes of failure of 1857 revolt was? See, unity among Indian rulers. One of the causes is what? One of the causes is what? Unity among Indian rulers. There was no unity. If there is unity, it will not become weakness. See, one of the causes of failure of 1857 revolt. One of the reason is unity among Indian rulers. No, if there was unity, we would not lost. Correct? No. Next thing is British military weakness. No, it was not weak. Next thing is strong foreign support. No, we did not have strong foreign support. Lack of modern weapons is the correct answer. Lack of modern weapons is the correct answer. We did not have modern weapons. Okay, this is the right answer to this question. Understood? Fine. What was the long-term significance of the 1857 revolt? Immediate freedom from British, strengthened British monarchy, rise in nationalism and Hindu-Muslim unity, brought industrial revolution in India. It is nationalism and Hindu-Muslim unity. Okay, this is about 1857 revolt. Alright, any doubts? Fine. Okay, these are all, every point is important which I told you. Okay, even when I share this, please read the points which I told you, it is important. Other things you can skip, no need to buy out all those things. Alright, I will wind up now. Let's meet in next session. Okay, thank you.